The other big piece here is pH imbalance. So acidity and alkalinity. Often in the context of the gut, we tend to see characteristics that are common with people who have very high alkalinity in the gut or just in tissues in general that may include the skin, the sinus, all of these tissues. Very quickly, I know this can be confusing. I'll just comment on this. The pH in the gut and the pH in the blood are not the same thing. Don't get confused by that. When we talk in CIRS about, you know, Dr. Shoemaker will call molecular hypometabolism, lactic acid, metabolic acidosis. Those are all terms that invoke acidification in the blood, which we do see in CIRS patients, and that's a metabolic thing. That activity of pH is not the same as the activity and pH that you see in mucosal barriers. In fact, what you tend to see are kind of like the opposite patterns. In the blood, you tend to see a lot of acidification in CIRS patients. In the gut or in the skin, you tend to see a lot of alkalinization, and they're supposed to kind of go in the opposite direction when you're healthy. So an interesting way to think about CIRS. When it comes to the pH component in the gut, this has more of an active component. There needs to be more active management. It's not something that will necessarily come back fully on its own. You have to do some work here. And one of the things that we need to understand about why this is important is, well, CIRS, for different reasons, I'm not going to go into the details here, it's going to alter fermentation capacity in the gut. And your ability to ferment food properly, fibers and things like that, is a sign of health. Now, I'm going to be touching on dietary things. There's a lot of bio-individuality, right? There's a lot of dietary interventions. I've done just about any dietary intervention, including carnivore. What we can say is at the population level, what is strongly correlated with a healthy biome or gut is a gut that can do proper fermentation. And we can say that CIRS does many things that is going to potentially start impairing that ability. And when you have loss of fermentation, expect high alkalinity. A lot of these tissues are meant to be either very acidic, moderately acidic, mildly acidic, or somewhere between neutral, low neutral acidic. But typically these tissues are shifted towards some kind of degree of acidity. And sometimes it can be more alkaline for digestion. Enzymes need to be in an alkaline state when you start breaking down foods, and enzymes start helping break down fats. So there are shifts, but in general, these tissues tend to have a bias towards some degree of acidity, low pH. But then in CIRS, some of us have profiles that suggest very extreme alkalinity in the gut. And so an alkaline gut or an alkaline environment in those tissues is going to favor overgrowth of opportunistic organisms that are not necessarily infectious. They're just opportunistic organisms that if they see the right conditions and nobody is keeping them in check, they just start growing out of control. And that could be actinobacteria, especially P. acnes. That could be candida. That can be parasites. That could be endotoxin producing bacteria. That may include things like E. coli. So this is part of the problem here in the gut, right? And we need to find a way to bring ourselves back to that pH balance.